Well, the first thing I wanted to talk about was sort of this thing you were just getting into, like having a career in sort of the Christian metal scene market or something like that, and also there's also, of course, something like a secular scene or whatever you call it. Now you're here on a Christian festival. And that's something I wondered how you see this whole topic, being in a Christian band, playing in Christian festivals. There's something like a message you guys want to share, your faith and everything. Whereas this, of course, would it be great to play secular shows? Now you're in a Christian festival, Christian metal.
Yeah, well, I think that for me, it's kind of, we never really meant to segment ourselves off from secular music or music in general by labeling what we do as Christian. But when we came out in 91, 92, that was very much a thing. It was a scene. It was like you're a Christian band with a message and an agenda, and we were part of that for sure. And we were young. We were like 18. So like it kind of became, it was a good thing in the sense that it was very unifying for people that have faith and love metal and felt like they couldn't enjoy the other bands that were out there like Metallica and Megadeth, Slayer, and bands that we all grew up on as well. And so, but we never meant to be a replacement for those bands or anything like that. We just wanted to share our faith and make excellent music, and that automatically put us into that category. And then over the years, we've played with multiple, general market secular bands and things like that. And so we don't care. I mean, we play wherever we are wanted.
Yeah.
And so at this point in our career, 26 years, it's not much of a career really. I mean, we haven't been a full-time band since 2000, like a full-time touring band since 2003.
When you first split up, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
And so even when we started playing shows again in 2008, it wasn't with the idea to be a working band full time. Yeah. It was more like, hey, we love this music and these each other, and we enjoy playing. And so we started playing again. And really the catalyst to that was Demon Hunter and their manager, and they're friends of ours, and they really kind of coaxed us into doing a tour in 2008 and everything. And so that kind of started the ball rolling, and then we did a record, The Infinite Order and everything. But so now we're just, we play where we're wanted, honestly. And for that matter, it's going to be probably more of the Christian type festivals.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've played other festivals that are not Christian at all, and are whatever. We play wherever, whenever the opportunity arises that it makes sense for us as grown men with families and children and things like that. So
of course.
And that's really our only agenda now at this point.
Yeah. If you look back, maybe 15 years when you were somewhere a little bit up there, live playing everything, was that a topic in your mind to say, okay, we want to play on secular festivals because we have something to say about it, or was it the same back then when you just taking the opportunities that were given to you?
Well, yes, at that point, and right around 2003, we very much wanted to just play wherever and not be segmented into a Christian category solely. Now we're Living Sacrifice. We will always be a Christian band. That's how we started. We don't deny that. We have no problems with our faith individually and collectively, and we're not trying to change that in any way. But you know, I mean, there's just only so much you can do within that genre or subgenre, you know. So yeah, at the time that we broke up, we kind of called it quits. You know, we were actually touring with a whole kind of secular lineup, you know, and everything, and I can't remember right now. I can't remember. The Sky Came Falling was one of the bands. Another band called Haste, and they tended more to be on the hardcore side, but that was also 2001, 2002, 2003, where we were doing those tours, and you know, so we were really just trying to do more in just, you know, that world, I guess you could say. So.
Great, okay. I read something online about a documentary about the history of the band, cruising around somewhere. Mm-hmm. Can you tell something about the recent state of that project, or is it still on the go? Or?
It's slow going. It's a friend of ours, actually from Little Rock, Arkansas, who would shoot us and film us early on, back in the day. Just like he's always been into video production. He works for a company now doing video production. And it was his idea to do the documentary. And he started it probably 4 years ago now.
It's a one-man thing, right?
Yep, one person.
Yeah.
And we've done interviews. He's compiled a lot of live footage. You know, I don't know that he has enough to finish to edit it together yet. I think there's still some pieces missing that he's wanting to do, but yes, I mean there's a documentary that's in the works, but it's a long process.
There's a chance that there's something coming up finally someday, somewhere in the future. So it sounds a little bit like
possibly, but it's independent of us. Like we're not doing a documentary on ourselves. But he is a close friend of ours, and it mainly started because he has a lot of early footage of us and everything. So
of course,
it could be good. We'll see.
But there's not something like a release date or something out there, just somewhere in the future when time and God allows it.
Well, the funny thing is we wanted it to come out last year, which would have been of the 25th anniversary of the band, but he wasn't able to do it. So.
Okay. Well, looking forward to it, anyways.
Yeah, it should be good. I mean, it should be fun. We'll see, but it just covers a lot of different eras of the band, and everybody's involved.
I can imagine that there's a lot of work to do, and if it's just an independent one-man thing, I know for sure it's probably will take some more time, of course. But something you would have a little bit more influence to would be new Living Sacrifice music. Is that something you're doing, or are you still like some guys in retirement, sort of retirement, coming back to play a show in Europe? What's that topic all about?
Yeah, well, we talk about doing new music all the time, but that's all we do.
Okay.
There's nothing new right now, but that's not to say that we won't start sending each other files and song ideas in next month. It's very fluid and very open. We don't have an agenda or
no expectations to meet, right?
No.
So you're kind of relaxed about it. There's not something in the close future coming up looking forward to.
No, probably not. But I mean, that said, I mean, there could be new music in 2018 easily.
Yeah. So if there's an initial smack or something, that will probably
it's just process. I mean, creating music and recording it properly, and I mean it's a lot. It takes some time and effort for sure.
Of course.
And everything that I feel like in the last several years, absolutely, since we've kind of reformed the band, that our standards are very high as far as production and quality and sound, because I mean, there's a lot of great bands out there, and if you know, and even like the new stuff we've even talked about, because I feel like you know, the Infinite Order, the 2010 album, and Ghost Thief are very Living Sacrifice focused, fan focused albums, and thrashy albums, and just chock full of American metal.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what else you could call it. I mean, it sounds like us. It's got aspects of everything we've ever done, even though we've kind of veered off into different areas through the past, like with death metal, and you know, people want to call some of our stuff new metal, but that didn't exist when we were doing it. Or I'm sorry, metalcore.
Metalcore.
That term did not exist when we were doing what we were doing in '97. So it's like, what do we do next? I mean, you know, since they have 2 hours drive ahead, it won't be a repeat of Ghost Thief or Infinite Order.
Yeah, that's what I just wanted to put in. You probably have to get something to make yourself feel excited about, and then it'll probably flow out, right?
Yeah, and it might be super different and maybe awesome, and maybe people will hate it.
I don't think so.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Who knows? Well, that's true. That was something I was quite interested in. If there's something soon coming up, but of course I understand your lives and your families and regular day jobs, I guess, and everything. So it's just like a passion you do, and similar to us two guys. We're just something we're passionate about to talk and write about music and our favorite bands, and
that's awesome.
Helping to support them a little bit and bringing some stuff to the fans out there. That's what it is all about, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I was wondering, it's not in a correct order of the questions we already discussed in the last minutes, but what I was wondering is, you know, our magazine is called Whiskey Soda. It's a German online magazine, existing for about almost 20 years now. And it's a secular magazine, it's not a Christian magazine. And so probably just a glimpse to go back to that term of a Christian band, so-called Christian band. I just say it like that,
Sure.
What is your approach to write lyrics? If you focus on lyrics and the so-called message, you know, there's been this rumors and myths like Stryper back in the day throwing Bibles in the audience and something like that. You know, there's a certain expectation of people that are not Christian, and they're sort of like, what, a Christian metal band? What's that all about? You know. So, can you give maybe as the last question a short insight how that's
I think,
going
sure.
on?
Absolutely, sure. You know, anytime we start on music and lyrics, especially, you know, these days, I mean, nobody is the same person at 45 that they were at 18.
Of course.
With life experience or lack of life experience or whatever. And so experience has shapes things and guides things, and you know, sometimes there's wisdom in like having, you know, more experience and living longer and having, you know, done more things and you know, tried to make a good life and take care of my family and things like that, and sometimes, you know, I mean, there's just terrible things, you know, that happen that are, you know, beyond our control or whatever. So, I mean, lyrically, when I know for myself, and I've written most of the lyrics for the last two records, I don't really have an agenda per se, except for to be honest with, you know, the topic that I'm writing about, and some of it has to do with like a little maybe political stuff, and not so much spiritual, but some of it can like kind of like, you know, also veer into spirituality as well as just like as a worldview, you know, not denying that at all, but not necessarily making it the focus. I would say that that our lyrics are not evangelical whatsoever anymore. That we do have lyrics that are that. We have done that, but that's not what comes out. That's not how I write things now. And it's not because I don't believe in the power of God to change things or anything like that. But I don't feel like for me and myself, it's like I don't want to shut anybody off from what we do musically with something that's just going to, for lack of a better term, bash them over the head with you should believe this type thing. Because what I've found is that I believe certain things. I believe in God and I have a faith, but I don't think that I have the right to tell someone else they should believe exactly the way I should or at all. I can only be who I am, live my life, be an example. Hopefully if somebody gets something out of our songs or music, that's great. But I think all that happens more on a personal level and on being like a good person, like one-on-one, and just being real and honest. It's like I'm not into the sales aspect of selling faith, which is kind of what I feel like some Christian music.
I was asking that because I've been in this so-called Christian metal scene for a few years, and I know all the preconceptions and everything. And I was asking from the perspective of maybe of a secular readers and viewers of our magazine, because I think that's something most people that don't have a certain how do you call it, contact to sort of Christian metal music, they probably will be critical about it, and what these guys are trying to convince me of something like that. That's what I was focusing on.
Sure.
And I guess that's what you said. It's more like I'm a person, I've got my experiences, my hardships, my personal life and everything, and my faith is one part of that, but not only the only thing, and not something that I have to smash on other people's heads, right? And this, in my point of view, in my opinion, much more authentic, and there's a power in that as well. Maybe it's even more power in that, as if you were throwing Bibles to get this this story from back in the day.
Sure.
That's great. Yeah.
Well, I mean, let me ask you, as an outsider looking in, you've never met me before, but as far as the output of maybe the last two albums, if you've looked at them at all, but I mean, what is your interpretation of it? Or do you feel like there's an overt spirituality to it, or do you feel like it's just kind of like, oh well, that's part of it, but
I don't think so, but of course I'm not really objective because I'm a Christian, so I probably see things in your music.
Read into it, yeah.
Yes, I think so, but I think I'm convinced it has an appeal to every person who loves good hard music, because that's what you do, right? And the show tonight has been super tight, and I really enjoyed it, and I think the other guys as well, and you as well. That's what I saw, and that's what it's all about. I think we don't have to preach and throw Bible citations around. That's not something it's going to be. But just sharing your life in a certain way, in an artistic way.
Yeah.